Friend, beloved God.
Friend, beloved God.
Great masters of self-realization.
Great masters of self-realization.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Babaji Krishna.
Babaji Krishna.
Lahiri Mahashaya.
Lahiri Mahashaya.
Swami Shri Yukteswar.
Swami Shri Yukteswar.
Paramahansa Yogananda.
Paramahansa Yogananda.
Saints of all religions.
Saints of all religions.
We humbly bow before thee.
We humbly bow before thee.
And invoke your presence.
And invoke your presence.
Join us this evening.
Join us this evening
for a celebration.
For a celebration
of the joyful arts.
Of the joyful arts.
Through song and dance.
Through song and dance.
Through storytelling and friendship.
Through storytelling and friendship.
Through art and crafts.
Through art and crafts.
May we feel your reflection.
May we feel your reflection.
And come ever closer to thee.
And come ever closer to thee.
Oh, peace. Welcome again, friends. I'm Marianne. This is my wife, Davy. And it's a joy. This is actually our second year of having Joyful Arts Festival. And our intention is to make it a very big annual celebration, part of what we have here at Ananda, LA. Those of you, some of you are familiar with Ananda, some aren't. But Ananda was founded by this man over here, on your left, Swami Kriya Malas, who was a direct disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda. And I think if you had to sort of encapsulate the hallmarks of what makes Ananda Ananda, we are a community of people that meditate together and serve together and have fun together. And so one of the ways that we have fun together is sharing through the arts. So this evening is meant to be just that, just a fun evening. We're going to have some storytelling with Paul and Brigid, hopefully, if she gets here. And Keshav is going to play some music on the cello. And Julie's going to share a little bit about our book. We'll have time where we get to see the crafts and artwork in the back. And we even have some special food for you. And that's really it. It's the arts, when they are creatively done in the highest sense, they bring us closer to our own highest art form, right, which is our soul nature. And so that's why great art has the power to uplift. And if we can tune into that tonight through all the different mediums, I think we'll all come away with that sense of inspiration. So Paul's going to do some stories of Ganesha, so we're going to invoke Ganesha.
Beyond space and time, the great Mahayogi Shiva, who the shaman of ancient times and the herdsman said his breath is the air of Himalayas, and his hair the mountains, who permeated all life and is beyond the physical realm completely. Shiva, when not dancing as Nataraj, we usually see him seated in meditation like Buddha. And he really is in just perfect bliss. He's the bliss, Shiva is the bliss we feel in meditation. And Shiva is bliss. So Shiva is, in its own ideal way, just pure being. He is being. He's beyond activity. He's the bliss that will come back into that source that all is going to dissolve back into. In fact, Shiva is said to be the Maha, the great yogi, that all yogis, rishis, attune to merge like the Christ, to be one with the Christ. It's the one with the Shiva light, spirit, the Heavenly Father, the divine. So he'd be covered in cremation ash, which is really the cremation of the ashes of our egos and of the world when it all starts to dissolve back. But the good news is he's just in pure bliss and knows we're all getting there anyway. We already are there, we just don't know it. We haven't woken up yet. Haven't done enough awake and readies yet. Just kidding. And so he's in perfect bliss, and he's been here for eons and eons. There's only one slight snag in this thing. He happens to be married, and his wife, this Parvati, is wondering, where the heck has my husband been for a while? He's been on this seclusion and meditation for like eons, like thousands and thousands of years. And Parvati is the divine mother aspect of creation. It's like in ancient times, they called it the goddess. They called it Mother Earth, and they called it that tingling sense of love that we feel when we look in the flowers and feel they're speaking to us and touching our souls. And Prakriti is that abundant life we can feel, spirit we feel in life. We feel in our bodies. We are all part of Divine Mother. We are all, just like part they say in the church, the body of Christ. We're all like the body of Divine Mother. And Divine Mother's getting a little annoyed because Shiva's been away for an awful long time. And she needs to take a bath and do these different things, but she doesn't want any strange demons or men to come by and intrude her while she's taking a bath. And you know, come on, so finally she decides, well, if he's not manifesting right now, I need another male around the home to help out. So she goes to the banks of the holy river Ganga, the most sacred river in India. And she comes down and she takes some dirt and dust, and then she takes a little Ganga, gets some of her holy water and then to spiritualize the energy, if Parvati needed spiritual energy, but that's fine. And she's taking it, and then she breathes life. Just kind of like when they say God, like breathe life into Adam. She breathes life, and she starts to create a boy, just a little boy, not a big guy yet, just a boy. But he's like a Titan little boy. He's as we will find out, he's not your ordinary kid. Okay. And so she breathes, and immediately this boy is like Superman when he was a kid. Like, he's very good, and he's virtuous, and he's strong, and he's very loyal, like Superman or Superboy. He's very loyal to the truth and goodness, and he. Good job, Michael. Just kidding. And so anyway, it's the beauty of human error. It's good. And so so she's breathing, she brought life, and she says, son, she gives him a big hug and a kiss, and she says, Ma, what can I do to help out? So he says, well, son, could you please guard the gateway of Kailash, which is the abode of Parvati in the Himalayas, and Shiva? Can you please guard the gate of Kailash? I need to bathe. I haven't bathed in eons, and I don't want any weird guys coming in while I'm bathing. And it's, of course, mother. And Parvati hands the boy a stout stick to hold. Okay, so it's kind of like when you have, like at Buckingham Palace, those soldiers, they're standing there erect, and so the boy is hanging out at the gate of the palace, and he's really into this thing, and he's looking around, and he's staying very, very vigilant. And who should stroll along, of course, but Shiva is starting to finally come. Perfect timing. And Shiva's got his trident, and he's got like his long matted mane of hair, and he's again smeared with cremation ash. He has a stench to him, kind of cremation grounds, and he hasn't bathed in eons. And there's snakes, poisonous snakes of avidya, which are the poison of ignorance, spiritual ignorance. But Shiva's can channel effortlessly that energy and the Kundalini. And so he's just there. He's wearing them like jewelry. They're slithering around him, and he's got he's practically naked, except he's got like a tiger skin, and he's holding his cosmic weapon, but also the trident. Okay, and the trident comes in handy. He uses the trident when he hates. One thing that Shiva is very compassionate, but the one thing he has zero tolerance is religious pomposity. So when anybody gets a little too proud, their religiosity, bam, watch out. And he'll turn them to ashes. So, he's coming along, he's strolling along, and then the boy is looking, and they look each other in the eye, and to be safe, the boy is holding up his stout stick to be safe, like kind of indicating, this is I'm a guard here. And Shiva says, "A young man, let me in. My mother told me not to let any strange men in, and you're a strange-looking man. And young man, don't you know who I am? I'm the Lord of Mount Kailash. This is my home. I don't care who you say you are. My mother told me not to let any strange men in." So Shiva's rather amazed about the audacity of this punk, basically, and yet he feels it's beneath him to do any harm. So he sends out psychic energy out, and a bunch of Ganas start coming. And the Ganas are like his posse, and if you wouldn't know any better, you would think they were like Saruman's posse. They're all these ghouls and goblins and vampires, and they're misfits in the cosmos, but they have one thing going for them. They all love Shiva, who's God. So it's this idea of if there's even that kernel of devotion, even the worst sinner eventually gets free, which yoga teachers all do eventually. So they are all saying, "Yes, sire, you're coming up." And he says, "Can you do something about this insolent kid? I'm trying to get in my home to see my wife." And it's a sure. So they all go at him, and it's thousands. There's thousands of them, and they're hopping on him, and the kid, again, he's Superboy. He's playing with them like plastic soldiers. Right? And they're all just, he's breaking them like matchsticks. And so they're done. They're powerless over this little tyke. And so then Shiva brings in the devas. These are the angelic beings. And these are more ethereal, powerful, subtler beings. And they all have they're coming from a dharmic place. And they're all going at it, but the boy holds them off too. They can't do anything about it. And so finally, and Shiva is has to admit, he's a little bit impressed by this kid, like, wow, this kid is pretty tough, but he says, "Okay, finally, enough is enough with this kid. I've got to go in my home. This is ridiculous." So he takes out his trusty trident and he slits the neck and the head of the kid off, and the head falls to the ground and rolls away. And and in India, often ancient India, when the head comes off, it's like the ego is getting cut off. And so there was some pride, and the kid wasn't obviously aware of who Shiva is, which is God. So the head rolls away, and the kid dies, and he goes back to just a clay carcass on the floor or on the ground. And so suddenly, so Shiva's like, "Okay," and then so he's going, "Hi, honey, I'm home finally," and Parvati, who's the mother in all and loves and sees her son, "Oh my God, my little boy, he's dead. What happened? What did you do? Our child, you killed our child." And Shiva goes, "Oh my God," he realizes he's in the doghouse now, the kid. And he's like, "Oh." So he gets his posse together, and he says, "We've got to find this kid." And for extra good measure, Parvati conjures up all the Shakti warrior goddesses, right? And so they're all behind her, like, "You're not coming in until you fix this one." And Shiva says, "Okay," to them. Find the north stands for, like on the crown chakra in the spiritual life. North is like the higher chakras. It's that level of our higher consciousness. He said, find the first being whose head is facing north and take the head and bring the head back. And so an elephant, we all know Ganesha is an elephant god, right? The elephant head. An elephant is hearing Divine Mother's agony or loss and sadness about her child and the loss. And so the elephant hears them coming, and he faces his head to the north, and he offers his head. He's ready to sacrifice his head. And then the Gana comes and cuts the head off, and then brings it back, and then infuse the head on the body of the kid, and then the kid springs back to life. And so there's a moral to this story, and one is that this boy reached immortality, and the elephant reached immortality by offering the head of their ego to opening to grace, and also with a sense of sacrifice. So when we offer our selfish agendas or the self-seeking and offer it to something greater, we are tapping into that nectar of immortality of the gods, it said, of Ganesha. And Ganesha, briefly also, I'll tell you one little story. So Ganesha, among other things, it's cute though, he has a big belly because he has an insatiable appetite for all things sweet to eat. In fact, he holds a bowl and it has prasad, sweet prasads. So he's always having it handy, just in case he wants one to nibble on. And also, in case, of course, people want to offer them to Ganesha, you can put some in his hand, some sweets. You can put some in my hand after this, too. And so he loves all things sweet. One time he loves all things sweet. He has big ears because he hears everyone's prayers. Let's actually come up for a moment. Open the arms. Okay, so we're going to open up, like we're Ganesha's ears. Okay, just imagine you're 3 years old. No? Okay, take the arms up. Inhale. Actually, up, inhale, and then open the arms out. And take them a little bit further back than you normally would, just so you can get a little bit in that big Ganesha heart. Okay, and take the arms back, and then inhale, lift up. Exhale. Now, close the eyelids. Ganesha has this incredibly sweet face, if you ever see pictures or sculptures of him. And see his face, his loving eyes, it's like as if he's gently caressing you on the brow, just letting you know how much he loves you. Okay? And then so here's everyone's prayers, right? And then give yourself a hug. So hug your shoulder blades, hug the heart. And so it's like he's perpetually hugging the universe because he's holding it in his big pot belly. Okay. And then take the arms out. Nice and wide. Inhale, exhale. Give yourself a hug the other way. So his compassion, it said, he's like the benign aspect of Shiva and Parvati together. His compassion is infinite. And take the arms out. Okay, now we get to the other part. Okay, hook your thumbs. Now open your fingers like peacock feathers. Okay, so Ganesha has a brother later. And his brother's name is Kartikeya. And Kartikeya, and after we can go to the side here. Okay, and then you can hook these thumbs the other way. Inhale. And Kartikeya rides on a peacock, which is why I'm getting to the peacock feathers. Okay, inhale and open your arms like a proud peacock. Okay, now, and you can sit if you want. It's up to you. So Kartikeya means son of Pleiades, and there were the goddesses who were in the stars, and Shiva sent them blessings, and they sent down 6 baby boys. And Parvati adopted them. She had so much love that she gave all the 6 baby boys a big mama hug, like Amma or something, and really hugged them deeply. And all the bodies fused into one, except there were 6 heads. Okay? And so, but this is like a Titan baby. Titan, like within 2 months, the most powerful warrior, conqueror of demons in all the cosmos. And so the gods decided, we've got these 2 Titan sons in different ways of Shiva and Parvati, so let's create a little contest, okay? See who's got the more power. So they said, they got these big cosmic fruits, sweet fruits, and they said, whoever goes around the earth 7 times first gets the nectars, the sweet fruits of divine knowledge and wisdom. Very poetic, okay. And so Ganesha's pondering this because he's a thoughtful being, and right away, Kartikeya has taken off on his peacock like a roadrunner. He's gone. He's already left he's already left Ganesha in the dust, okay? And he's very athletic. He's like that annoying brother that's more athletic than you are, or sister. They always did better in sports. And he's off already and going around. And it looks like he's the clear victor. And Ganesha is thinking, Kartikeya has a peacock. That's a fierce warrior peacock. And he's stronger than me. I, on the other hand, have a rat as my vehicle. Plus, I'm kind of pudgy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. So, but what Ganesha does is rather than getting on the race, which he doesn't think he's going to win in that way, he knows he has to find another way. He sits by the banks of the holy river Ganga, where Parvati had created him once before and breathed life. And he sits at the Ganga and he meditates. So this is a plug for meditation too. And he sits, and as he's gazing into the spiritual eye, he sees Shiva and he sees Parvati. And he sees beyond the familial forms of the father and mom. And he goes deeper into their true essence, their true nature, which is the entire cosmos, spirit. So he comes back, and out of respect, Ganesha bathes himself in the holy Ganga. He puts on some of his best clothes. He puts on some nice jewelry out of respect. And then he goes up to Shiva and Parvati, and then he just walks simply. He doesn't even need the rat right now. His whole backstory with the rat, we don't have time. So he walks around Shiva and Parvati 7 times and bows and does a pranam. And they say, Ganesha, what are you doing? What are you doing? And Ganesha says, Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, you are the entire universe and the cosmos. Surely the earth is just a particle within you, this earth. Shiva and Parvati smile and say, dear son, you already have the nectar of wisdom, of knowledge. So when we go beyond the Maya screen, we will always come short and lose the race. But if we go inside, it's where we learn the true greatness of all, the spirit of our higher selves, of self-realization. And that's why they said, Ganesha, not only now are you the remover of obstacles, meaning obstacles of the ego, but you are also now the vehicle, the deity of divine wisdom to remove the obstacles. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. I want to invite Brigid up. Brigid is a dear friend. She's a beautiful singer, storyteller, and just a joyful person altogether. So Brigid's going to share.
Hello. I also have a story. It is from this wonderful Tatterhood and Other Tales, which was part of the feminist press from New York. It came out in the 90s, I believe. And it was something that I greatly cherished as a child. I thought I would share this one tale with you today called Three Strong Women. And this is a folk tale from Japan. It doesn't have a specific author because a lot of these stories come out of oral traditions. Long ago in Japan, there lived a famous wrestler, and he was on his way to the capital city to wrestle before the emperor. The wrestler hummed to himself as he walked along. Zoom, 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 in time with the long swing of his legs. Wind blew through his thin brown robe, and he wore no sword at his side. He felt proud that he needed no sword, especially in the darkest and loneliest of places. He felt much as a wrestler should, strong, healthy, and rather conceited. He thought, they call me Forever Mountain because I am such a good, strong wrestler. Big, too. I'm a fine, brave man and far too modest to ever say it. But just then he saw a girl who must have come up from the river, for she steadied a bucket of water on her head. Her hands on the bucket were small, and she was a round girl with red cheeks and a nose like a friendly button. Her eyes looked as though she were thinking of 10,000 funny stories at once. She clambered up onto the road and walked ahead of the wrestler, jolly and bounceful. If I don't tickle that fat girl, I shall regret it all my life, said the wrestler under his breath. She's sure to go squeak, and I shall laugh and laugh. If she drops her bucket, that will be even funnier, and I can always run and fill it again and even carry it home for her. He tiptoed up and poked her lightly in the ribs once with a huge finger. He said. The girl gave a satisfying squeal and giggled and brought down her arm so that the wrestler's hand was caught between it and her body. Oh, you've caught me. I can't move at all, said the wrestler, laughing. I know, said the jolly girl. He felt that it was very good-tempered of her to take a joke so well, and he started to pull his hand free, but somehow he could not. He tried again, using a little more strength. Now, let me go, he said. I'm a very powerful man. If I pull too hard, I might hurt you. Pull, said the girl. I admire powerful men. She began to walk, and though the wrestler tugged and pulled until his feet dug great furrows in the ground, he had to follow. She couldn't have paid him less attention if he were a puppy dog, a small one. 10 minutes later, still tugging while trudging helplessly after her, he was glad to see that the road was lonely and no one was there to see. Please let me go, he pleaded. I am the famous wrestler, Forever Mountain. I must go and show my strength before the emperor. He burst out weeping from shame and confusion. And you're hurting my hand! The girl steadied the bucket on her head. Oh, you poor sweet little Forever Mountain, she said. Are you tired? Shall I carry you? I do not want you to carry me. I want you to let me go, and then I want to forget I ever saw you. What do you want with me? Moaned the pitiful wrestler. I only want to help you, said the girl. Aren't you afraid that you might meet a really strong man someday? Forever Mountain turned white. He stumbled. He was imagining being laughed at throughout Japan as Hardly Ever Mountain. She glanced back. Why don't you come along to my mother's house and let us make a strong man out of you? The wrestling in the capital isn't due to begin for another 3 months. I know because grandmother thought she'd go. You'd be spending all that time in bad company and wasting whatever little power you have. Oh, all right, 3 months, I'll come along, said the wrestler. He felt he had no choice. Fine, she said happily, we're almost there. Soon they arrived in a small valley. A simple farmhouse with a thatched roof stood in the middle. Grandmother is at home, but she's an old lady, and she's probably sleeping. The girl shaded her eyes with one hand. But Mother should be bringing back our cow from the field. Oh, there's Mother now, she waved. The woman coming around the corner of the house put down the cow she was carrying and waved back. She smiled and came across the grass, walking with a lively bounce just like her daughter. Excuse me, she said, brushing some cow hair from her dress. These mountain paths are so full of stones, they hurt the cow's feet. And who is this nice young man you've brought here home, are we? The girl explained. And we only have 3 months, she finished anxiously. Well, it's not long enough to do much, said her mother. He does look terribly feeble. He'll need lots of good things to eat, and maybe when he's stronger, he can help grandmother with some of the easy work around the house. That will be fine, said the girl, and she called her grandmother loudly, for the old lady was a little deaf.
Huh.
I'm coming, came a creaky voice from inside the house, and the little old woman, leaning on a stick, tottered out of the door. As she came toward them, she stumbled over the roots of a great oak tree. My eyes aren't what they used to be. That's the 4th time this month I've stumbled over that tree. And she wrapped her skinny arms around its trunk and pulled it out of the ground. Oh, grandmother, you shouldn't have done that. Let me pull it up for you, said Maromi. Oh, I hope I didn't hurt my poor old back, muttered the old lady. She said, daughter, throw that tree away there like a good girl so no one will fall over it. But make sure it doesn't hit anybody. You can help mother with the tree, Marumi said to Forever Mountain. On second thought, maybe you'd better not. Just watch. So her mother went to the tree, picked it up in her 2 hands, and threw it. Up went the tree, sailing end over end, growing smaller and smaller as it flew. It landed with a faint crash far up the mountainside. Oh, how clumsy, she said. I meant to throw it over the mountain. It's probably blocking the path now, and I'll have to get up early tomorrow to move it. The wrestler was not listening. He had very quietly fainted. The next day, they began the work of making Forever Mountain into what they thought a strong man should be. Every day, he was made to do the work of 5 men, and every evening he wrestled with grandmother. Maromi and her mother agreed that grandmother, being old and feeble, was the least likely to injure him accidentally. And they hoped that the exercise might be good for the old lady's rheumatism. He grew stronger and stronger, but was hardly aware of it. He quite forgot that outside this valley, he was one of the greatest wrestlers in Japan and was called Forever Mountain. Soon, he could pull up a tree as well as grandmother. He could even throw one, even a very small distance. One evening, near the end of his 3rd month, he wrestled with grandmother and held her down for half a minute. She chortled and got up, smiling with every wrinkle. I never would have believed it. Marumu squealed with joy, and they agreed that he was now ready to go show some real strength before the emperor. The next morning, Forever Mountain got ready to leave. He thanked Maromi and her mother and bowed very low to grandmother, who was the oldest and had been a fine wrestling partner. When he reached the palace grounds, many of the other wrestlers were already there, sitting about, eating enormous bowls of rice, comparing one another's weight, and telling stories. They paid little attention to Forever Mountain, except to wonder why he arrived so late this year. Some of them also noticed that he had grown very quiet and took no part at all in their boasting. All of the ladies and gentlemen of the court were waiting in a special courtyard for the wrestling to begin. And behind a screen sat the emperor. He hoped that the wrestling would end very quickly so that he could go to his room and write poems. The first 2 wrestlers chosen to fight were Forever Mountain and a wrestler who said he had the biggest stomach in the country. So the other wrestler, moving his stomach somewhat out of the way, raised his foot and brought it down with a fearful stamp. He glared fiercely at Forever Mountain as if to say, now you stamp, you poor frightened man. Forever Mountain raised his foot and he brought it down. There was a sound like thunder. The earth shook, and the other wrestler bounced into the air and out of the ring as if he were any soap bubble. He picked himself up and bowed at the emperor's screen. I do not think I shall wrestle this season. And he walked out, looking very suspiciously over his shoulder at Forever Mountain. 5 other wrestlers then and there decided that they were not wrestling this season either. They looked almost annoyed with Forever Mountain. From then on, Forever Mountain brought down his foot very lightly. As each wrestler came into the ring, he picked him up very gently and carried him out and placed him before the emperor's screen, bowing most courteously every time. The emperor was very happy behind his screen, for now, with the wrestling over so quickly, he would have much more time to write his poems. He ordered that all the prize money be handed over to Forever Mountain, but he said, you had better not wrestle anymore. He stuck a finger through his screen and waggled it at the other wrestlers, who were sitting on the ground weeping with disappointment like great fat babies. Forever Mountain promised not to wrestle anymore. Everybody looked relieved. The wrestler sitting on the ground almost smiled at him. I think I shall become a farmer, Forever Mountain said, and left at once to go back to Marumi. Marumi was waiting for him. When she saw him coming, she ran down the mountain, picked him up, and together with the heavy bags of prize money, she carried him halfway up the mountainside. Then she giggled and put him down. The rest of the way, she let him carry her. Forever Mountain kept his promise to the emperor and did not ever fight in public again. His name was forgotten in the capital, but in the mountains sometimes the earth shakes and rumbles, and they say that it is Forever Mountain and Marumi's grandmother practicing wrestling in the valley.
So I just recently lost a sweet friend of mine, and she was a very loving, compassionate, wise girl, and unfortunately she transitioned before finding her inner joy. And I feel like being here at Ananda, we have a sacred mission, each of us, to find our own inner joy and to help others find theirs. So I want to say this poem in honor of my friend Shannon. It's called Golden Majesty of Silence. Oh, and I'll ask that you just close your eyes as well. I used to enjoy talking before I knew the sweetness of silence, a depth that words can only candy coat, an inner fullness that wants for nothing and makes you feel like you have company when you're alone. Speaking feels superficial by comparison, like bubbling up from the depths, only to float on the surface. Hollow instead of submerged, falsetto without the bass. Silence is golden, with few who are steeped in her majesty. A sanctuary within us, but often the last place we look, because all that glitters on the outside appears to be gold, only to slip through our fingers again like sand. The candy rots our teeth, our lover leaves, but still we hope the satisfaction will last. Grasping mirages instead of diving into the wellspring within. Holding hands with a shadow instead of its source. And a mythology that says seeing is believing, and I think, therefore I am. Silence will not force her will on us, and is so subtle that she's often overlooked in favor of the seductive allure of illusion. Yet within her is the peace that passeth all understanding, eternal sunshine of a spotless mind. Thank you.
feel like I've been a storyteller kind of all my life, and that's been my way of kind of contributing through my inner joy. And I've recently written 2 books. The first one is called Sam and the Secrets of the Universe. And it's about a 14-year-old boy who dies on Earth. But he wakes up on another planet and is being given the opportunity to learn the secrets of the universe. And if he fails in his lessons, he'll be reset with no memory of his previous life or of the place that he's been on. And he really struggles with like his quest to maintain his identity. And this propels him on this big cosmic adventure. And he ends up going through a black hole where he must work with his anti-self to kind of get out of the trouble that he's created. And the inspiration for the book came kind of in an instant. I like to say it's divine inspiration. I was reading an article about a black hole, and I just got struck with his story. And I wrote it all down. It took about an hour to like just get everything on paper. And I think it was also kind of brewing inside of me of just some of the things that I had been going through. So it's a way of me to kind of express myself through other characters. I've been working in TV and film for the last 10 years, so I like to also kind of have a visual component to what I do. So I've created also a little trailer to kind of create the visuals to the book as well.
Welcome to Havona. You're here to learn the secrets of the universe. You'll be tested on these secrets, and if you pass, you'll go to the next circuit planet. If you fail, you'll be reset with no memory of this place, and no memory of your last life.
My name is Sam. When I died on Earth, I woke up on Havona. I'm willing to do anything to get home.
Available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Appropriate for ages 9 and above.
So my second book is called Love from Mars, and it's a romance with a science fiction background. It's about the first 6 people to be chosen to colonize Mars, and they're given a one-way ticket. But the protagonist is a female young reporter who goes to cover the Martian 6 press conference. And she inadvertently meets one of the men who has this one-way ticket to Mars. And they just have this undeniable soul connection. Despite the fact that he is leaving the planet and never returning, they feel like they must explore this connection. So he has 5 years to train on Earth, and they can be together. And through that process, they learn essentially about divine love and how their love can transcend space and time. It has themes of meditation throughout it as well, and you know, that's definitely part of my life, so I feel very passionate about kind of having that interwoven into the romance story. What I'll say about this one, I also feel like it was very divine inspiration. I dreamt the story as if like a movie in my mind. It just played, and again, I woke up and I was like, I have to write this down. And so I feel like when you get struck with that kind of thing, you just have to go with it. And whenever I have that motivation, it's so much easier for me to actually get it on paper, because it's just this flow of energy, and I'm, can work for hours without even realizing that I haven't taken a break. So whenever I'm in that flow, I feel my best. So I've also created a little short trailer for this one.
6 people have been chosen to colonize Mars. I didn't expect to meet him, and I certainly didn't expect to fall in love. Please, don't go.
Promise me you'll never stop looking up.
Love from Mars. Available in paperback and ebook on Amazon.com.
But I just really feel very passionate about telling stories through whatever medium, whether it's TV or film or books. And I'm currently working on probably about 4 other little projects that I have dangled. I've been getting a lot of inspiration for some short stories that I'm going to be compiling into a book, and those have just been actually coming through my meditation. I'll just be sitting in meditation like, whoa, oh my God, I have to write that down. So I really encourage everybody, whenever they get that divine inspiration, just to follow that flow, because it's really the most rewarding thing. So thank you for letting me share.
I want to now introduce our vendors or our exhibitors, and we have Kathy Berry in the back. Kathy did all this amazing artwork, and she's going to tell us a little bit about it in just a moment. And then Colleen did all these lovely Kriya Malas that you'll see too, and she's going to tell us about her process.
I found out when I read about this today that I was supposed to say something. I would rather just share my art than speak, but I am so grateful for the opportunity. I love art. I love painting. It's what I do. It connects me, and I'm so blessed for these formats that I've been given. The Yogadanda Fest was amazing, and preparing for this event too. I have been wanting to paint a painting of Master, and I had not yet done that. Ananda is one of, I just love her beauty that comes through pictures that I've seen of her, and then I'm into chakra colors and lotus flowers. So I created a few new things, and I had a few things that I brought along to share. I had an experience when I did the painting of Master. Once before in my life with art, I had an experience similar where I saw something in a painting that was really moving, and that happened with this. I was working on it for hours, and then a really important part of painting to me is walking away sometimes. You just have to walk away. And there was nothing wrong. I was like, I gotta walk away, and I was gonna go run some errands, and I got to my kitchen door to go out to my garage, and I turned around. And when I saw him from a distance, I felt him, and it brought tears to my eyes and such gratitude. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Well, hi everybody. This is totally impromptu too. I've loved stones ever since I was a little girl. My mother used to get upset with me because I had my dresser drawers full of big rocks, and evidently it's not good for the furniture. But I mean, that's just from like 4 years old on, and I've been collecting some of these stones for some period of time, and recently it was as if they just had to be made into malas. Kriya Malas are a little difficult to find. Buddhist malas are much easier to find, and these are all Kriya Malas, and they're all made with love. I put a lot of attention into using the best quality stones that are available, into knotting them with care. The metal used on them is treated to be hypoallergenic and tarnish resistant, which you're not going to find many places. It's a pretty time-consuming process. And when I put these together, I really have a deep feeling that they're made for somebody specific, and it's just a matter of finding the right person at the right place with the right piece. And someone recognized one as his already. Maybe yours is here. Feel free to look, and I can customize the pendants. And anybody who purchases anything gets a description of the stone and its metaphysical properties. So oh yeah, and last night I was up making more because some just had to be made. it's a strange feeling because they just, the particular ones had to be made. So anyway, that's my process. It's all done with prayer. Enjoy looking at them. Thank you very much.
I have 2 CDs. I play the harp. Some of you may have heard me play at Sunday service sometimes. And I have 2 CDs. This one is Improvisational Harp with singing bowls, flutes. I play all the instruments on it, the miracles of multi-track recording. And it's just improvisational. It's kind of a sound healing CD. And this one is songs, so I play harp and sing, and my ex-husband plays guitar. And they're just beautiful songs about being connected to the earth and to each other.
Andrew, did you bring your harp?
I did bring my harp.
Oh, great. Okay, so Andrew's going to, we have a little break now. Garmin Maiden's making us pesto pasta. As you say, pesto pasta basta. So also behind Kathy are Jyotish's paintings. See above the bookshelf, Kathy?
Yes.
They're 3 Nayaswami Jyotish. Some of you know Jyotish and Devi, the spiritual directors of Ananda worldwide. So there's 3 of his paintings as well that you can check out. And everything's for sale too. I think the ladies are offering things, right? So if anyone feels inspired. Yes, let's take time to browse, and we have tea and water in the back too. Restrooms over in the corner. In case you was going to play some music.
So our next presentation, I think you may be interested in, is food. So I want to present to you some brown rice pasta and a coconut pesto and some spinach salad with mung bean sprouts, and that's about it. So.
Will that day come to me, Ma? Will that day come to me, Ma? When saying, Mother dear, my eyes will flow tears. When saying, Mother dear, my eyes will flow tears. Wisdom's lotus will blossom forth. Darkness will steal away. Wisdom's lotus will blossom forth. Darkness will steal away. Steal away, steal away. Steal away, Ma, steal away. Steal away, steal away. Steal away, Ma, steal away. 1,000 Vedas do declare Divine Mother everywhere. 1,000 Vedas do declare Divine Mother everywhere. Shri Ram Prasad says, Divine Mother everywhere stays. Shri Ram Prasad says, Divine Mother everywhere stays. Blind eyes see them all hiding everywhere. Blind eyes see them all hiding everywhere. Will that day come to Nima? Will that day come to Nima? Will that day come to Nima? My Lord, I will be thine always. My Lord, I will be thine always. I may go far, farther than the stars. I may go far, farther than the stars. My Lord, I will be thine always. Devotees may come, devotees may go. Devotees may come, devotees may go. But I will be thine always. My Lord, I will be thine always. My Lord. When I die, look into mine eyes. When I die, look into mine eyes. They will mutely say, I will be thine always. My Lord, I will be thine always. My Lord, my Lord, I will be thine always.
I only share this poem once a year, and it was written in traffic, about traffic. The poem is titled Kundalini Highway. I hated you once. Your snarling masses, heaving coughs of emissions, congestion, backed up bumper to bumper traffic. Then I saw your lights, trails of red and white, snaking towards a common delight. Home, 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 Your engines hum and rumble toward the spiral stairway of trafficness. Traffic, yes. Oh yes, I hated you. Fought you like a demon. Cursed your name to friends, family, and enemies and strangers alike. While with you, enduring periods of respite. And then I accepted you. Your massive reality. Your omnipresence. Beyond space seemingly. And certainly beyond time. You are traffic. And not just any, but LA traffic. Bringing me to my knees. I surrender now in joy, for thou art my teacher, my friend, yes, my beloved. I love you, adore you, am in awe of your power sublime. Can't think of anything but you. Can't see anything but you. The 10 to 110 to 101 to 405. It's a circular journey, a spiritual one. Returning to zero, going nowhere and everywhere. And on a more serious note, I wanted to share briefly, Master wrote this poem, My India, and some of you know the story, some may not, but his Mahasamadhi, March 7th, 1952, he read this poem, and the very last words before he left the body were the last lines of his poem. So I invite you to close your eyes if you feel and take in his consciousness through this poem. My India. Not where the musk of happiness blows, not in lands where darkness and fears never tread, not in homes where unceasing smiles reign, nor in heaven, nor prosperous lands would I be born. If once more I must assume a mortal garb, 1,000 famines may rack my body, waste my flesh, and leave me prostrate, yet would I be born again in Hindustan. 1,000,000 thieves of disease may steal my flesh, and clouds of fate send scalding showers of searing sorrow, yet would I prefer in India to reappear. Is this love of mine a blind sentiment, spurning reason's guidance? Far from it. I love India, because it was there I first learned to love God and all things beautiful. Some people counsel all to seize the fickle dewdrop of life as it slips down the lotus leaf of time. They cry, live well today, tomorrow we die. Some others base their stubborn hopes on keeping their bodies always well. India, however, taught me to love above all the soul of deathless beauty within man's fragile form. That serves a high purpose, India taught me, which lasts ever after everything dies. Her sages taught that one should seek the self beyond the ash heaps of discarded bodies, beyond the brief, ephemeral incarnations we live, decked out in panoplies of ignorance. Through many a land, secure in power and plenty, efficiently sustained by science, my soul, whether garbed in oriental or occidental body, traveled far and wide over the earth. Ever stumblingly it sought itself. At last in India was its quest fulfilled. If mortal fires razed all Indian homes and desiccated her paddy fields, yet would I rather sleep on that dust, dreaming eternity, than sit on a proud throne amid royal pomp. O India, I would starve in your poor villages, in preference to entertaining kings in marble mansions. Invasions have swept over India's wasted lands. Boastful conquerors have strutted their proud victories, scoffing at all they saw. They commanded abject homage. Yet has the soul of India been conquered by any tyrant? Her independent soul has stood firm. Never will she lose her inner freedom. Her defending soldiers are her saints and rishis who routed ignorance with calm wisdom universal understanding, and ever clearer perception of the truth. The posturing puppets sent by foreign governments to impose new ways of action, thought, belief, marauders bearing hatred, prejudice, and country's pride, could never weaken the inspiration God implanted in her soil, inspiring ever a vision of oneness, universality, and brotherhood among all children of our one Father equally. My Western brothers with material might have overwhelmed my land. Now loudly blow your conscious all. India soon will launch a new return invasion. Its weapons will consist of kindness, truth, and love. Its ancient wisdom will amaze the West, the whole world. Better I love thee, O my India, than heaven or Arcadia. And thy love I will share with every brother nation that accepts my offering. God made the earth, but man made its confining countries with their fancy frozen boundaries. Love, however imported from infinity, will inspire equally all true souls everywhere. My India's borderland embraces the whole world. Hail thou, mother of religions, lotus, scenic beauties, and great sages. Thy doors are open wide to welcome God's true sons from every corner of the earth, where Ganges, woods, Himalayan caves, and men dream God. I am hallowed. My body touched that sod.
Good evening, everyone. I will share with you a song that I wrote for my guru. Found myself reading a lot. And I wrote this just a few months ago at Ananda village. So, here it is. When the night has come, I see the sunshine in your eyes. When your love touches my heart, everything's alright. I know that you guide my life. And feel with your light, all I want is to shine in the hearts of all. Brothers, open your eyes. I will cry to the world with your love filling my eyes. And I will give myself. Yes, I will give myself. Your life. 'Cause how many years I have tried my need, how many lives I have looked for thee.